Well, you got a cheer for that as well. American comedian Erich McElroy joins us on the sofa. Morning to you.
Hello.
You love watching American politics.
I do.
What have you made of what we know so far?
Well, it's been fantastic to have things start, because this is it. This is our Super Bowl, our World Cup, our Olympics. It's all finally happening. So this is what we've been waiting for 2 years. And it's nice to see Trump get a punch in the nose. So I think we've been waiting for that. I wanted him to get it, because I think he's defined himself so much as a winner. I'm a winner, I'm a winner, I'm a winner. And now you're a loser, just like everyone else.
American politics is the one thing, actually, that the United States have, which is more convoluted and complicated than the British or any other system in the world. You know, we have an election, we get it all done in 6 weeks, and that's it.
I know.
And in the United States, it just goes on forever. And the Iowa Caucus, there's this massive razzmatazz about it, and actually doesn't really matter that much, does it?
It gives people a boost. It helps cut the field. I mean, and obviously the Republican field with what started with 17 candidates, and now it's going to get whittled down quite quickly. Huckabee's already dropped out, who probably most people haven't even heard of. There's just so many that were there, so it helps kind of cull things a little bit and kicks things off back into New Hampshire.
So you try and explain this to a British audience,
Yeah.
don't you? So to explain what's the significance of Iowa, first of all. Is it just because it's first?
It's first, and it's a nice chance for the humanity of the candidates to come out, because people actually get up close and personal, because it's so rural and remote, and people get to talk to the candidates, and that's what we like in American presidents. We want someone we can imagine having around our house and having at a barbecue. And that's why people like Clinton struggle, because her humanity doesn't come across very easily. Her likability isn't there. You could see it tonight when she didn't quite win, but she tried so hard because she wanted to do better than she had last time. And she's just like, why don't people like me? She's desperate for it.
Where's the comedic material in the US presidential election system? Because you've got a whole show about it.
Yeah, I think, well, it's explaining that likability in that sense of, you know, whoever can manage eating the best hot dog. You know, like, you've kind of had the same thing here with Miliband struggling with his bacon sandwich. You slowly are becoming more and more Americanized, which maybe is not such a good thing.
Much easier to eat a hot dog than a bacon sandwich.
It is challenging. That's why the British system is, you know, got that ancient traditions to it.
And just sort of staggering amounts of money spent on all of this as well.
Billions. I mean, compared to the cost, especially of a UK election, which I think it was, is it 30 or 40 million pounds for a UK election, which isn't even enough to buy a World Cup in Qatar. It's it's billions. It's a ridiculous amount of money. That's insane. But that's the thing about Iowa. All the money that Jeb Bush spent, and I think he got 4% of the vote.
Right.
I saw something, he spent around $2,500 per vote. So all that money, though, it still goes down to the people who connect the most with the Iowa voters. Unfortunately, that's Ted Cruz, because he's just like Donald Trump, but with more of a weasel face. I mean, he says the same things, but just with less bombast.
Yeah, much more charisma and interest this time around because of Trump.
Trump
whatever
factor.
you say about his politics,
Oh, yeah.
He has lots of people who agree with him in America. He's a colourful character.
Yes.
And on the other side, you've got Bernie Sanders, who's been described as the American Jeremy Corbyn.
He is. I don't know how he's doing so well in a way. I guess there's that same kind of underswell of anger and desire on the left.
But just how left-wing is he?
He's pretty, I mean, to call himself a socialist and get votes in America, that's pretty radical. I mean, people look at me funny because I live here now, and the fact that I've used the NHS makes me some sort of communist in America. So, you know, Bernie Sanders I struggle with, because my wife is from the same part of New York that he's from, and so he sounds exactly like my father-in-law. So every time I hear him speak, I just hear this voice saying, "What have you done with my daughter?" So I struggle a little bit with Bernie, seeing him as a viable president of the United States.
So tell us from here, I mean, so we sort of cut, some of them will leave at this stage, won't they? And then it goes on, there is Super Tuesday, which is like, what, Oscars and more for you?
Well, it's about 4, I can't remember how many states, but that's where it moves away from this sort of intimacy that you get in Iowa. Having Iowa and New Hampshire, these little small rural states, I think it'd be like if we started the process to choose a prime minister here with maybe Cornwall and the Shetlands. I think that might be the closest equivalent. I'm not sure exactly.
It's a very, very accurate barometer of public opinion, of course.
Well, exactly. So it takes away from the personal Super Tuesday, and that's where Hillary will be strong. Hillary needed to do as well as she did tonight. I'm sure she wanted to do better. But if she'd lost tonight, that would have been a big story.
Is anyone interested in America in actually changing the system so that these ludicrous amounts of money are not spent? And you get because basically the prize goes to certainly one of the people who will spend the largest amount of money.
Yeah.
Rather than, is there any danger of ever being made more democratic?
I think unless we get a Democrat in the White House, they can replace the people in the court, because the Supreme Court is the one who said that money is speech in America. So I like our free speech in America, but they defined money as free speech.
Really?
So corporate America can spend money, and that's what drives all this super PAC and everything else, is that you can't restrict what they spend.
All right, you're going to have to explain what a super PAC is.
Oh, super PAC, it's a group of people that come together to put money towards a candidate. So they're not affiliated with the campaigns, but they work closely. So like Jeb Bush will fire his closest advisor, who will suddenly start up a PAC that supports Jeb Bush, but they don't collude together. It's very strange, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But at the moment, there's not much they can do about it.
So we go through this whole system of caucuses, and then eventually we'll find out who will be up against each other at what sort of stage.
It could be that it goes all the way to July to the convention. It depends on how long Trump holds on, and you know, on that side of things, and how long Bernie holds on the other side of things. Because I think Hillary will start to get a run of wins now.
That's who your money's on.
Yeah, I think Sanders did well in Iowa because it's super liberal in Iowa. The 43% or whatever, you know, say they're socialists in Iowa. That's not like the rest of America. So that I think that will sort of get narrowed down quite quickly. The Republican one, though, there's so many candidates who will hold on. There's so much of that extra money floating around. It could go all the way to July, which would be fantastic.
Oh, and a brokered convention.
Yes,
wouldn't that be exciting?
They threaten that every time.
Every time this comes around, people go, there might be a brokered convention, which you'll explain about in a minute, and it never happens.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, basically, it would mean that they can't tell who's winning in delegates at this stage.
Right.
So, whatever stage. So if they get all the way to July, and it's not very equal as far as a clear winner of delegates, and people can change their votes as delegates. So it's not set. So I could be a delegate, go in and say, actually, now I'm going to vote for
the old saying about smoke-filled rooms.
Exactly.
Except they wouldn't be smoke-filled rooms, would they?
They'd be smoke-free now. It's not as much fun as it used to be. Maybe they could be vape-filled rooms.
Yeah.
And
Getting together in a smoke-free room doesn't have that same ring to it.
Let's not forget the actual election doesn't even happen until November.
I know.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.